Hello everyone and welcome back to Logan's Weather Channel. Today I'm just going to post a video on our possibilities for some severe and strong weather today. So we already have this line forming through western Michigan, and it's going to continue to move across the state, mostly northwest for now. So we already have those storms forming, but for the most of the state, we're under a marginal, or actually a general thunderstorm risk, and that sliver on the bottom of the state on the southeast side is under a marginal risk. That risk is mostly for the wind, as they are under a 5% chance of a wind gust of 50 knots or higher, and also the tornado threat, which is the chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any point in that green area. They're under a 2% chance of tornadoes. And it's really not surprising that the SPC updated this to be 2% tornadoes and 5% wind, as we definitely we're looking at a lot of wind shear and a lot of moisture. That moisture is going to help for storm formation. The wind shear could help for possible supercells, and wind shear is always good for tornadoes and wind and hail, although we are not under any kind of hail threat at this moment. All right, so this is the HRRR composite reflectivity model. So we're going to get it to 8 a.m. It's 8:30 right now. So 9 a.m. here. We still have this little line moving across the state. 10 a.m. This will start to fizzle out, still moving through the state. 11 a.m. and then 12 p.m. A little bit up there by the thumb, but then you can see over on the west side of the state, we have a few cells popping up in like Newaygo County, Kent County, down in that area. And those could possibly be some supercells with the amount of wind shear and instability we have in that area. And then you can also see that other line. This is around 1 p.m. now. That other line forming on the very southwest corner. And that could also be some supercells if they decide to be. And both those lines move through the state, and then you can see a monster cell moving towards Tuscola County, out of Saginaw County, moving up towards the thumb, and then you can see all those lines of storms there. And then down in the way bottom, the way south west corner, you can see another bigger cell on the Indiana side of the border, but still some big cells in the area. And then this is 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and then you can see another massive, like, just group of storms coming towards Michigan here. This is 8 p.m., and then those storms are going to hit us and those south counties there, and then move through. And then the severe threat really fizzles out by about here, around 1 a.m. But yeah, this is 11 p.m. This is 10 p.m. And then that final line of storms that looks like it could possibly be severe gets to the state around 6 or 7 p.m. And then it moves through, and then we've just got our heavy rain. All right, so now we're going to be taking a look at the wind shear from 0 to 6 kilometers, okay? All we need for supercells is about 35. For tornadoes, like supercells and tornadoes, we only need about 35. And we're getting values up in the 40s. Like, look at that. 40 sweeping across the state. Even higher values, like maybe even the 50s. And that's definitely sufficient. And then there, when that final line moves through, there's probably values in the 60s or almost even 70s there. But yeah, that's pretty wild. And then the wind shear mixed with all of this moisture being pulled up from the Gulf with this low pressure system. This low pressure system is moving through, and it is just sucking all the moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico or America, and it's bringing it all up here. And like, we've got dew points 63, 64 in some places, 66, 67 across the border in Indiana. And that is definitely enough for some big storms if they decide that they want to form. As long as they have some lift, there is plenty enough of everything for them to form into big storms. and possibly even supercells. So now this is the storm relative helicity. And this is basically the amount of spin that the storms have. And it's looking like there's some higher values right now. Yeah, some higher values with those cells over there on the west side as it moves through the state. Those values stay with it. So definitely a lot of spin. And this is the 0 to 1 kilometers. So that's pretty low. And then you can see here, we have this little area down in the Ohio, Michigan, Indiana border area where the three touch. There's this group of cells that come up and they bring some storm relative helicity with them. And then again down there as that final line comes through. And so here's what I really wanted to look at. The supercell composite. So this is basically a bunch of different things put together to show the probability of a supercell forming, or the ability for these storms to form into supercells. There's not a whole lot right now. You can see a little bit moving across the state around 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and then down in Indiana, across the border, it's going to form, and there's going to be a lot of it coming up. Not a whole bunch, but definitely enough to form a couple supercells, I can imagine. And that's going to sweep across the state. And then it's going to fizzle out again. But yeah, definitely a little bit there around the 1 to 8 p.m. time frame, which is probably because of daytime heating. It's going to really help out in storm formation. Although it may be this first line here may be hindering the storms from forming really well because they're dumping cooler, drier air. So that could definitely be something to watch out for if these storms cannot form because of that. So yeah, with all of that combined, just an eventful day here in Michigan and throughout the country, as there is a larger area of severe weather down south. Yeah, so just stay safe out there in Michigan today. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. And I'll probably be posting and making some videos as the severe weather continues or starts up, as it has not continued or started yet.